If you could win a fortune beyond your wildest dreams just by spending 1 year in the company of a corpse, would you take the bet? In 19th century Paris, thousands of men tried, and every single one of them failed. In the heart of Paris lies the Père Lachaise Cemetery, a city of the dead where names like Oscar Wilde and Jim Morrison rest. But among the grand Gothic structures, one mausoleum stands taller and more imposing than the rest, a massive white marble monument topped with a stone wolf and a crown. This is the final resting place of Princess Elisabeth Demidoff. Elizabeth was a woman of staggering wealth and legendary beauty, but her life was marked by a cold, lonely marriage to a Russian count. When she died in 1818, she left behind a will that sent shockwaves through Europe and turned the Parisian elite into a frenzy of greed and fear. The impossible will. The will stated that her immense fortune, millions of rubles, gold, and jewels, would be handed over to any man who could fulfill one simple yet horrifying condition. He had to live inside her tomb for 1 year and 1 day. But there were rules. He couldn't leave for a single second. He would be provided with the finest food, wine, and books, but he had to sleep in a chair right next to her crystal coffin. He had to keep her company in the silent, freezing darkness of the crypt. The madness of the tomb. Initially, the challenge seemed like a dream for the poor and the adventurous. Hundreds of men applied. The first candidate, a brave retired soldier, entered the tomb with confidence. He lasted 3 days before he was found screaming at the heavy iron doors, claiming he heard the princess whispering to him from behind the glass. Another man, a scholar who thought he could use the time to write a book, lasted 2 weeks. He was carried out in a straitjacket. His hair reportedly turned white from terror. The rumors began to spread. The princess wasn't actually dead, or perhaps her spirit was so lonely that she was slowly draining the sanity of anyone who dared to stay. The bet became a Parisian obsession. People would gather outside the tomb at night, listening for sounds, but all they heard was the whistling wind against the stone wolves. The reality of the romance. While the ghostly challenge became a legend, the true history is even more romantic. The princess didn't actually leave a cursed will. That was a myth born from the sheer opulence of her tomb. The real story was that her husband, devastated by her death, built this skyscraper of a grave so that he could see it from his window. He spent his remaining years visiting her every single day, talking to the stone walls as if she were still there. He created a legend of a living tomb because for him, she never truly died.